Hello everyone, Anita here and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while guys. Today we have another video. I'm probably going back to my weekly videos, so enjoy this one as well. I am going to be doing an Inktober piece this week. So here we have all of the things I will be using. As you can see, I'm a little bit rusty when it comes to recording, so my footage quality actually changes between the shots, and I'm putting my head in the shot all the time. So I'm sorry for that. I'm mostly using flat washes in this painting. There's not much shading actually, like you would normally do with watercolor. I know that I normally don't even use that much shading with watercolors, but this is a really flat painting, even for my standards. And that's because this is really my first time picking making an actual painting with ink, with fluid ink. I use fine liners all the time. I use Copic Markers, which are also ink, but this is like the real hardcore ink that comes in a jar, and I'm not used to it. I did some little exercise in an extra piece of paper, but you know how it is, it's something completely different to when you're actually using it on paper, so in an actual painting. And so that's what I'm doing right here. It's just like a small practice. And I have, like I've mentioned, a rough watercolor paper from Arches. It's a 300 gram paper. It's not stretched, so it's just something I've just stuck on a foam board. And I started with putting straight from a jar. I have the sepia ink, and I just used it to set the tone for the skin, for the ears, because it's kind of like a brown bunny idea. And that's why I've used just a really, I wanted to see how it would work. I didn't want to dilute it, so experiments. And then I'm using Copics. If you are new to Copics, don't use them on watercolor paper. This is something I've done on purpose. I use Copics on all kinds of surfaces, and I've been using it on my sketchbooks before. And I know how it works, and Copics are not meant for watercolor paper. But I needed color, and this was my only alternative. This was the only color ink I had around the house, so that's what I wanted to use. If you decide that, oh, I want to try it on watercolor paper, have in mind that watercolor paper is very... it just will soak all of your ink. Oh, I'm kind of hitting stuff around, so it will kind of like drink all of your ink, and you have to be very light-handed. It's just, I barely touch the surface of the paper, and you also have to bear in mind that it's going to spread, at least in my paper and in my experiences on watercolor paper. It spreads, especially thick one like this one. So for me, it was a conscious choice, but I would not recommend it unless you know what you're doing. Also, if Copics don't really like to be mixed with watercolors in a way where you're putting Copics first and then watercolors. In a few places where the Copics touched the ink, because of how the ink works, the Copic works on watercolor paper, it just made a little bit of a mess around the edges. It's not much. I will be doing a line art afterwards, so I didn't really mind, but I should have put the ink first before putting the actual Copics. The reason I actually didn't do that was because I wasn't sure how the ink would react to Copics. I tried it on my scrap piece of paper, and the Copic actually smudged the ink, the same ink I'm using right now. And but in this case, I don't know what I've done differently, but this ink is actually quite waterproof, which surprised me, positively, really surprised me. Also, I will really look into buying more inks and experimenting a little bit more with inks, because I absolutely love painting with black ink. I'm not a kind of like monochrome painter. I wouldn't say I hate, but I don't see anything attractive about, for example, black and white painting. I never liked sketching, because it was just two-tone sketching. And the same with photos. I really dislike black and white photos. There's nothing wrong with them per se, it's just my personal preference. But in this case, I really, really like how this black ink is reacting to watercolor paper. It's just, I always had a problem with, okay, let's just put it at this, that it's really, really smooth. And it's smooth where I need it to be smooth, but then when I wanted to have a little bit of texture, I get that texture, and you'll see that later. For now, I'm using my tiny, tiny, tiny watercolor brush, and it's a new one that I've purchased especially for some miniature paintings that I'm doing. And it's a 5/0, I think, something like that. It's a very, very teeny weeny brush, but it's perfect for making those really nice lines. And I've never done lines with a small paintbrush before. I always did them with fine liners, just because when I used a bigger paintbrush, you have to be really light-handed, and I'm not. So it was really, really hard for me to actually get that thin line I was looking for. And you can see it especially at the very beginning when I just started doing the lines. I wanted to do them with that paint, with that, brush, the paintbrush, the big one, the ink brush that I've purchased. But it was just, it has a really, really fine tip, but it wouldn't work for me. I'm way too heavy-handed for tiny details like that. And so this little paintbrush did not, it wasn't planned. I didn't plan to use it with ink, but in the end it came out perfectly. So what I'm doing here is just, I'm doing quite, I wouldn't say rough lines, but I'm not really staying within the line I made with my blue pencil. I'm kind of sketching, I would even say. It's something I also don't do, and I have to say I haven't painted anything traditionally for a very long time. I think it's been about 2 months now. I've done some little Inktober sketches that you can see on my social media if you're not following me and you would like to. The links are in the description. But I've been doing a little tiny sketches and things like that, but nothing really big and painterly. So I actually I had problems finding some of my tools that were just scattered around the house. If you've seen my vlogs before, I've moved my studio, so it's a bit of a mess. And so, yeah, I felt really rusty. My skills felt really rusty, and so it was a really good exercise. Just do something simple, just to get back in touch with painting. So I'm still doing the lines. I think the lines took me the longest time. And mostly because I was really afraid to get to that skirt part. As you can see, it's empty. And I've also mentioned it, if you follow me on Facebook, I've mentioned I'm really terrified of this skirt part. Because if you've watching me for longer, you'll know I like to be in control of what I'm doing. And one of the reasons why I'm not doing much wet and wet is because it's in a certain level very, you can control it. And so it was quite terrifying to me to start doing this part here, which I'm pretty much wetting down my paper really thoroughly, and then just dropping ink into it and hoping for the best. Now, of course, you can control it, and I had some control over the ink, and much more than over the watercolor. I have to say, I was really surprised. Like I said, I've practiced a little bit on a scrap piece of paper, but this really... I was really enjoying this part over here, and I will certainly use ink more often, because this is really, I love it, and I didn't expect it, but as you can see here, I'm actually doing the same effect on the hat, because I just had to copy it somewhere else on the painting, because that's how much I loved it. And another thing here that I can mention is that once I've actually put in that skirt, and added those little bits on the hat, that little, I don't know, the weathered look, if that's how you call it. When I've added the extra ink on the hat, that's when it actually started to feel really nice and sharp. I think that's the only way I can describe it. It's really felt like the picture was popping on me, and because, yeah, let's be honest here. When you're just putting flat colors, that's what it is. It looks flat. And so then I've just felt like I really wanted this whole painting to be a little bit more vibrant. There should be more shading. And so I came in with colored pencil. I know it's not exactly ink, not entirely. They're not even ink tents. But I felt the need to actually do some extra shading. And so I'm going back first with colored pencil, and then I was like, why not just Copic? So I picked up some other Copic colors. I did the W3, my favorite gray, which fits perfectly with the color scheme. And then I came back with some, excuse me, with some fine liners, and I did some more with colored pencils. I used gouache because I couldn't find my regular gouache. I used acrylic gouache for the highlights. And at the very end, I had a problem what to do with the bunny, because originally I intended for this picture to have a darker background, and so the bunny would be a little bit shiny. It would be like this whole magic thing going on around it. But I didn't know what to do because it did not end up this way, and I really did not want to do a darker background. I like this picture the way it was. As you can see, I'm adding some stars to the skirt. Yes, it's my ongoing obsession with galaxies. So what I've done, I just picked up this really light blue Copic, and I've just added some shading all over the place, and it's really tied it together, and I'm really satisfied with it. And that's pretty much it for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this really, really simple painting. If you have any questions or comments, please just leave me a comment. Just write me a message. I really love reading what you guys have to say. And yeah, I'm really, really happy. I missed making videos, and I know that you guys have been asking me for new ones. So here I am, and we'll be going back onto once a week schedule again. We'll see how it goes. I hope you enjoy it. And please subscribe and leave me a like if you've enjoyed it. It helps a lot. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!